Now, I know one of the other things that entrepreneurs can get hung up on are the finances.
Mm.
And in your book, you talk a lot about, ways to manage that. So I'm curious what tips you have for us when it comes to the moolah.
Yeah, well, speaking of broad subjects, that's also a broad one, and I remember
Yes.
you wrote about it quite a bit in your book as well. I guess I would just say I see a lot of creatives getting hung up over the basic idea of designing their business to be profitable. And when I talk with people about their businesses, like I often hear about everything except the money. And I don't want to say the money is the most important part. Probably the most important part is to be useful and to create something that's useful. But then right after that is, if it's a business project, you have to create something that's profitable.
Right.
And cash flow really is essential. And so if you don't have that element, then you have a hobby, you have a passion, you have something that might be fun, and all those things are great. But if we're talking about business, really, I kind of design my businesses like backwards. I always think ahead, like what is the outcome and what is this, before I start thinking about what I'm going to create, I think about what the offer is going to be. What is the consumer or the customer, whoever the client going to receive, and then what are they going to pay for that, and how is that going to then create, a profitable model for me, and then I start backing it up. Right. And then I start looking at everything else that, is going to go into creating that. What is the product design? What will be the marketing? How will I partner with people? How will I take care of the back end? But I kind of think about those things after I think about, how will this create positive cash flow, and how will this create a profit center?
Now, I'm curious, what has been the biggest challenge for you in running your business?
My biggest challenge historically, over 10 years, has been getting bored with things and moving on. Yep. I'm really good at building things. I'm not always so good at sustaining them or maintaining them.
Yeah.
So, there have been a number of times, over 10 years that I built something that had a lot of potential, but then I just got tired, basically, and I moved on to something else. And maybe it wasn't a complete failure, because maybe I was just supposed to do something else, and that's fine. But I guess, as I got a bit older and I had a little bit more experience, I realized that was a weakness, and I wanted to kind of correct that. So, over the past few years, I've tried to be a little bit more deliberate about what I'm doing and making sure that, I create something that is going to, one, allow me to grow and allow the project to grow and have a life of its own. So that's what I've been working on. I would say now my biggest challenge is I like to say yes to a lot of things.
Right.
I love to do a lot of things, and my strategy in building this project has been to say yes to everything for the most part, at least everything I'm excited about. And because there's all this advice about how you should say no like 10 times for every one time you say yes. And in my case, I've said yes 10 times to every one no. And that's great. I think, and I'm thrilled about it. And so probably now it's only 3 years in that I am starting to kind of like, okay, I am going to have to make some more compromises and sacrifices, and I'm not going to be able to say yes to everything. So that is a challenge, because if I hear of an opportunity, I want to just jump into it.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to see if I pursue one opportunity, then I'm going to have to say no to others. So I don't like that, but I'm trying to figure it out.